Hello, and welcome to my guide on tactics for Valithria Dreamwalker from Icecrown Citadel in 10 man. I'm Deathbetrays from Twisting Nether, and I'll be your tour guide this evening. Firstly, this is how we set up our group. We had 2 tanks, 3 healers, 2 melee DPS, and 3 ranged DPS. This boss fight is unique in World of Warcraft, as instead of having to kill the boss, the raid must instead heal the boss to full health. During the fight, adds spawn from the 2 sides and will require 1 tank to take each side while DPS nuke them down. I first recorded this fight as a tank, but it was only afterwards that I realised this is pretty much all you would see all fight. But while I'm showing you the point of view of a tank, I should mention that the tank should pick up all the adds except the suppressors, as these don't have a threat table and instead just run straight at Valithria Dreamwalker, and should therefore be nuked down by the melee DPS as quickly as possible. The second time I did Valithria Dreamwalker, I was a healer, but once again, it was only afterwards that I realised all you would see is this. However, while I'm showing the healing point of view, this fight requires 1 healer to heal the DPS and tanks, while 2 of the healers go into these portals that Valithria Dreamwalker creates. Valithria Dreamwalker will use the ability Summon Nightmare Portals approximately every 45 seconds, and when she does cast it, she says,
"I have opened a portal into the dream! Your salvation lies within, heroes!"
For the first 15 seconds, they will be unusable bubbles, but they will then turn into usable portals that will disappear upon use, so it's best to stand next to the portal you're going to use the moment the bubble appears. When inside the Emerald Dream, the player can fly as though they're on a flying mount, and must collect the floating Nightmare Clouds. When collecting them, the player must ensure they hover in the cloud until it explodes, and not just run straight past or through it. When Nightmare Clouds burst, they give a stacking debuff to everyone within 10 yards called Emerald Vigor, which will increase the player's damage and healing by 10% and MP5 by 200 per stack. A decent player should be able to get around 4 to 8 stacks per phasing, and should not lose stacks between phases. As there are 3 portals, 1 DPS can use the 3rd portal if the raid is lacking in DPS, but neither the tanks nor the 3rd healer should go into the Emerald Dream. As some eagle-eyed people may have noticed, I am actually healing the raid. This is because I have Beacon of Light on Valithria Dreamwalker, so I'm just helping out the raid healer a little. Now I'll show you the point of view of a ranged DPS, who has the best overall view of the fight. As I'm a mage, you may have noticed that I immediately went and cast Amplify Magic on Valithria Dreamwalker. If you can't work out the reason for that, then you're a little special, aren't you? As I've already said, the suppressors should be nuked down by the melee DPS, as they go straight for the boss and have no threat tables. As for the rest of the mobs, the killing order is as follows. Blazing Skeletons. These must die as soon as they possibly can, else they will channel a spell called Lay Waste, which is an uninterruptible channeled spell that will cause 4,000 fire damage every 2 seconds to everyone in the raid, and Valithria Dreamwalker. Risen Archmagi. These are 3rd on the priority list, as they cast Frostbolt Volley, which would hopefully be interrupted. Mana Voids, which like all void zones in World of Warcraft, should be avoided the moment they spawn, and Column of Frost, which no one should get hit by, as it has a graphic that appears for 2 or 3 seconds before the damage is actually caused. Blistering Zombies. These should be the 4th to die, as they cause a stacking debuff called Corrosion every time they land a melee swing, which causes 2,000 nature damage every second, and reduces their target's armor by 10% per stack. They also explode when they die, and due to these mechanics, a lot of raids get the ranged to nuke the zombies and tell the tanks to ignore them. Gluttonous Abominations. These are the least important mobs, as their only ability is Gut Spray, which causes any targets in front of the abomination to take 2,000 nature damage every second, and increases physical damage taken by 25% for 12 seconds. However, it is a disease and cleansable. When abominations die, they spawn around 10 rotworms, which must be AoE'd down as quickly as possible, as the damage they do mounts up quickly, and no one, except a tank, should aggro them. When Valithria Dreamwalker reaches full health, she will kill all remaining mobs for you, and present you with your loot. The key to this fight is keeping an eye on what mobs are currently alive, and remembering the correct order, and especially to nuke the blazing skeletons and suppressors the moment they spawn. Unless of course you're a healer, then you need to concern yourself with getting into the Emerald Dream as soon as possible every time, so you can retain the most amount of stacks possible. Follow these tactics, and you should soon be able to move on to Sindragosa.